the one job that I've always wanted to do is to be Chancellor of the Exchequer. I was an economist at the Bank of England for many years before I became an MP. I worked in financial services. I know how to run a successful economy. I just want the chance to be able to do that and turn this economy around so that it actually works for working people in our country again. And I wanted to be an economist after finishing at university. The economy growing, and that has been the missing ingredient these last 13 years. Now, you know, Phil sort of says, oh, I'm an ex-banker. Yes, I am an ex-Bank of England economist. COVID, I mean, what a nightmare. So I have 45 minutes, basically, to prepare my speech. Now, my background is as an economist, and I think I put that to good use. I first came to Washington, as you said, a little over 20 years ago. As a young economist at the Bank of England, I was seconded to the British Embassy here in Washington. And I always feel that every generation of women are sort of standing on the shoulders of those who have gone before us. But it also made me reflect that in all my time working as an economist at the bank and in the private sector, I spent the best part of a decade as an economist at the Bank of England. Granted operational independence to the Bank of England. I started my career as an economist at the bank. Things that add up. You know, I started my career as an economist at the Bank of England. I know how important it is to have low and stable inflation and predictable interest rates. When I worked at the Bank of England as an economist, those are things that I would take into this job as Chancellor. The numbers have always got to add up.
Liar!
I was an economist before I became a politician, and all of the jobs that I've done since I've become a politician have been in the sort of economics field. So, look, you know, some people want to be leader of their political party. Look, I'm honest, I've always wanted to be Chancellor of the Exchequer. That, for me, is the perfect job. And when I became Shadow Chancellor, one of the things I reflected on is how few women I studied as an economist and how few women I worked with when I was an economist, both in the Bank of England and then in the private sector as well.
You lying ass bitch.
They want some stability, and that is what Keir and myself offer. And I hope that when people hear me, they hear somebody who's absolutely committed to the fiscal and financial discipline that we need. You know, those are things that I learned when I worked at the Bank of England as an economist. Those are things that I would take into this job as Chancellor.
This bitch lying!
Before entering politics, I worked as an economist at the Bank of England.
Oh, you lying bitch!
What my career as an economist at the Bank of England taught me was that you've got to have stability in the economy. I was offered two jobs, one at Goldman Sachs and one at the Bank of England, salaries multiples apart, but I chose the Bank of England in part because I wanted to be an economist, I wanted to get that training. Those lessons that I learned early on in my career as an economist at the Bank of England are lessons that I would take into the Treasury if I have the privilege to serve as Chancellor of the Exchequer in the next Labour government.
Lying bitch.
I worked at the Bank of England as an economist. I know what it takes to run a successful economy. And I know the importance of protecting family finances.
Liar! You are a liar.
People to know that they can trust me. My background is as an economist working in financial services, both at the Bank of England and in the private sector.
You a lying motherfucker.
But if there's one thing that I learned from my career as an economist at the Bank of England, it's that none of this is achievable without a stable and secure economy. Our sums have to add up. That's why everything that I do will be built on a bedrock of economic and financial responsibility.
You're fired!
Now get out!
To go or not to go, that is now a question. The Prime Minister will be damned if he does, but he will surely be damned if he does not. The British people deserve better.
Yeah.